All right, let's go to segment 3 and let's talk about, in case you missed it, Cedric, a couple of fun stories that have come across our radar this week. The first being a bee invasion at the Cincinnati Reds stadium. I don't know how much good baseball is happening in Cincinnati these days, but they've got a force of nature. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Yeah, once every few years, there are bees that invade a baseball stadium. You know, Jen, we don't talk a lot of baseball on the writer's blog, but full disclosure, I grew up a Cincinnati Reds fan
Whoa.
back in the day because they were always on television, and I loved Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, George Foster, Dave Concepcion, all of those guys, Tom Seaver. So those were my guys. So when I saw this story, I kind of go, wow, finally, for the first time since Eric Davis left in the mid 90s, there's some buzz in that stadium because there hasn't been a whole lot to cheer about over the last few years with the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
I thought about some of the wackier things that have happened in baseball. Nickel Beer Night at Cleveland Stadium in 1974 when there was a big brawls in the stands. Just a horrible, horrible day in Cleveland. Everybody's drunk and fighting and rolling around on the ground. Or in 1979, 40 years ago, Jen, before you got here, Disco Demolition Night at the Chicago White Sox, when they basically ceremoniously killed disco and they burned records at the stadium. I'm sorry, I was a kid then, but I love me some disco. Give me some Bee Gees. Give me a little bit of Donna Summer, some Gloria Gaynor. That was my stuff. So the Bees showing up was kind of cool. And like I said, finally some buzz around Cincinnati baseball. Unfortunately, the Bees left, and now they're back to being the crappy Reds.
Yeah, I was trying to think of anything sort of force of nature like that. I mean, we all have been, in rain delays and all that sort of thing. I'd have to sort of go back in my memory banks and think about whether I've never seen anything like that. That's for sure. Occasionally you see the, stray cat or squirrel or whatever get loose. I think a few years back I was covering a college football game and there was a cat or something that I think that was maybe in Lubbock. For whatever reason, that's sticking in my head. So you occasionally see stuff like that, but thankfully never had a bee invasion. I'm hoping it stays that way for a long time to come. Let's stick with sort of another baseball-related, in case you missed it, story, Cedric. This one coming from a minor league baseball park. We have a minor league team here in Oklahoma City. This one in Connecticut, the Hartford minor league team there has decided no more peanuts. They're not selling peanuts or Cracker Jacks, because that has peanuts in it as well. No more sales of those from their concession stands to try to bring in fans with peanut allergies. And frankly, that's younger fans these days. Lots of kids nowadays, it seems, have developed peanut allergies. They're saying no to the peanuts, no to the Cracker Jacks. Cedric, I am all for baseball trying to draw in younger fans because, frankly, they're struggling to draw in younger fans. But would you miss your peanuts? Would you miss your Cracker Jacks if you were off to see Hartford's minor league team play and you couldn't buy those things?
Well, Jen, all I got to say is take me out to the ball game. Buy me some politically correct food and some water to drink. I don't care if I ever get back. Doesn't that just have a great ring to it, Jen?
It's
Peanuts
missing
and
a little
Cracker
something.
Jacks are in that song.
Yeah.
You got to have peanuts and Cracker Jacks at the baseball game. If you don't like peanuts and Cracker Jacks for your kids, okay, don't buy them. That's part of the fabric. What are going to get rid of next? Hot dogs? We're going to replace hot dogs with tofu. What are you doing? You're minor league baseball. Don't forget who you are. That is the worst idea ever.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I've heard of some of these areas that, teams have taken to sort of doing allergen free. Like if you got a peanut allergy, you can set in sections A, B, and C because they're not going to allow that there. I think that's a great idea to give that sort of cover to parents who might be concerned about that. But it does feel a little bit odd. I got to admit, I eat peanuts at baseball games, but it's not so much because I love them, Cedric. It's more
you're at a baseball game.
and it's more because somebody else is going to pick up my mess. I mean,
Yes.
if I throw the shells on the ground, I don't have to go sweep it up later. Somebody else, sorry to all the stadium workers out there, but somebody else has got to clean it up. That's a lot of why I buy my peanuts at ball games. So I'd be sad if I couldn't do that.
Well, Jen, I've got a great marketing idea for a national restaurant chain. They should put it on billboard. If you can't get peanuts at the baseball game, come see us. Signed, Texas Roadhouse. You can get some peanuts at the Texas Roadhouse. You can throw them on the floor.
Yep.
Look, here's the question I have: who in marketing in that baseball minor league organization sat down at a meeting and went, what are we going to do to address the allergen population, the allergic population? It's growing by leaps and bounds. Somewhere there's a kid out there that can't eat peanuts. We don't want him staying away because he can't eat peanuts. Here's an idea. If you're allergic to peanuts and you like baseball, don't eat peanuts. Case closed.
All right, we know where Cedric comes down on the no peanuts, no Cracker Jacks rule. So to everybody in the greater Austin area, if you want Cedric at your baseball games, keep your peanuts, please, by all means. All right, that's it for the Writer's Block this week. Be sure to join us next week. We'll see you then.